Hi friends, today we are going to solve special string again problem from the string manipulation subsection of the interview preparation kit. So in the given problem says that a string is said to be a special string if either of the two condition is met. If all of the characters are the same, for example A, and all of the characters except the middle one are the same, for example AA, DAA. So for example, let us take the first example when all of the characters are same. Or let us take, there would be few test cases given here. So let us take this example of sample input 2 where the value is 4 A's. So in how many ways substring could be formed when the values are A? So this would be the first condition when all the values are same. So in this case, a substring could be formed using all the characters of the A. So when all the four letters of the A's are taken, so when the number of characters is 4, then would be 1. It could be also formed when we take first three values and from 0 to 3th position and from first position to the last one. So in that case, there would be two ways of forming it. When you take three characters, when the character level is 2, it could be formed is from 1 and 2, from 0 to 1, then 1 to 2, then 2 to 3. So in three ways it could be formed, and when the values would be 1, or when you take only one characters out of the string, there would be four ways. So if we sum it up, the values that we're going to get would be 10. So there would be 10 ways of forming. So there would be another formula for writing it, which is basically the length of the string multiplied by length of the string plus 1, and the entire thing would be divided by 2. So in this case it would be 4 multiplied by 5 divided by 2, which would be 10. So this is the one way of doing it. There could be another way of doing it, in which case the values on the left and the right side are the same, but the middle one is not same. So let us take an example. Let's say, and we could also easily figure it out one more thing, which is basically the length of the string. For example, ABC, BA. So in this character, there are 7 characters that would be present here, and all of the individual characters would form a substring. So that is something you need to take care in mind. Now let's work on the next question to solve. So what if the values are in the second case? Let's say in the second scenario, A, B, C, B, A, B, A. So we could loop it through. For example, in this case, so we'd be looping it through. We'd be starting from 1st position and we'll check whether the values of A and C are matching. So if they're not matching, then it is not a valid string. Then we'll go to the Cth position and we'll check whether C and the, sorry, we'll go to the Cth position and check whether the values of its left and right are matching. So in this case, it's getting matched. So we could write B, C, B. Now, once Cth position is reached, we could go to the Bth position and check the values to the left and right are matching. In this case, they are not. And then we could again go to the, 8th position. And in this case, values of left and right are getting matched. We could easily write ABA, BAB, BAB. And we could also again go to the Bth position and we will check whether the values to left and right are getting matched. So in this case, it is getting matched. So we'll write ABA. So this is the entire idea. So you have to take a note of these two ways of doing it. Now the question is that can you do it in a big O of n? So we could do it using big O of n square by writing two for loops, but that it won't be a proper solution or won't be a proper way of doing it. So in this case, we will do one thing. We will basically will loop through it and count how many values are present. So for this case, we'll be looping it through. Let's take a smaller example. Let's take this example. 3. The value is ASASD. So we'll be looping it through. So for the first case, we'll be looping it through, and once we looped it, so we'll be checking whether the next value is equal to the first value or not. So in this case, it's not. So in the list, we'll be basically inputting a comma 1. Now the next value is s, which is not equal to the its next value, which is a. So s would be 1. Similarly, would be again looping it through. Then the value of a would be 1. Again, would be looping it through. The value of s would be 1, and at last the value of d would be 1. Now, what would be the answers when we'd be looping it through this one? So in this case, the value would be a, comma 4. This would be the answer. And if you loop it through this configuration, so now once we have got the individual length or how many repeating strings are there, so for example, when we are looping through the first loop, would be applying this formula. So it would be 1 multiplied by 1 plus 1, 2 divided by 2. So all these individual characters would be taken. In this case, it would be 5 for the first character of n into n plus 1 divided by 2. Let's take it answer. Should be plus. So once we do loop it through, and we'll get a value of 5. Now the next question is that we would have to basically apply this formula. So in this case, we'd be writing a loop. So our for loop. So for loop would be starting from 1th index because we have to check the leftmost and the rightmost value of it. So 1 till the length of the array, or in this case, let's call it array only, minus 1. Because if we go to the last end, we'd be able to find a value on the left hand side, but we won't be able to find a value the right hand side. So now we'll be looping it through. Now all the value would be s. So is the value of a and a is equal, which is true. So it'll be increasing the answer by 1. Answer plus equal to 1. So answer would become 6. Now it'll be looping to a. Is the value to the left and right are same? So ASA is true. Then we increase the value to 7. And when you go to the s value, the value to the left and right are not equal. So nothing happens. We could also basically, when you'll be looping it through, so instead of going and checking this list, we'll be basically checking this one. This is the basic idea of how we'll be approaching it, although we'll have to take in care of few more things. So for example, there could be a situation when the value of s would be 3 and this s would be 4. So in that case, which one should we take? So in that case, it would be something like this. S. So I could easily say that this entire string could be forming a substring. Okay, so they would be basically taking the minimum of 4 and 3, so it would be 3. So if we take this, it would be something like so this entire value would be forming a substring. So substring could be formed as SAS, then another substring could be formed SS, ASS, and the third substring could be formed SSS, ASSS. So this is the basic idea. I will not remove this, let's just write it in quotes. Now let's write our function. So the first thing to do here is we are going to initialize our value of answer to be 0. We will write a value of count to be 1 and a value of cur, which is basically going to check the reverse element, which is going to be s of 0. Now we'll be creating a loop. And one more thing, so basically you have to store this entire nested list. So for this we will create a list, a empty list. Now we'll be looping it through. So for I in range of 0 to length of s. So here it would be 0, it would be 1 because we have already initialized the first value. So if the current element is equal to the previous element, so in that case the count value would increase by. Else let's take a value of something else because it could get confused. Although Python is pretty smart, so it understands the value difference between a variable and a method or a function. So would basically write the value of cur and the current count value. After that, we would be initializing cur with the new value of the s which does not got matched, and we will write the count value equal to 1. And when the loop would end, so we will have to store the last value also. So in that case, the last value would be now it's the time for us to apply this function. So for basically would be looping through the list. Basically here would be applying this method of counting how many substring could be formed. And at last, it's time for us to check the individual values. So whether they would be forming values of ASS, so this type of strings is formed. So in that case, we'll be looping again for I in range of 0 to length of. So here it won't be from 0, it would be from 1. So we'll be checking whether the value of it is left. So it would be list x of I minus 1. The left file would be started by -1 is equal to. So we are writing the value of 0 because we are going to check this value, not this one. So when we're going to find this value to be 1, and we're going to find this one to be 0. I hope you understand the next thing, how to do slicing and dicing. That would be really required, this type of Python methodology. And also we have to make sure that the middle value should be 1. So here, in case there could be a situation where the middle value would be 2, so in that case it won't form a special string. The special string would only be formed when the middle value is just 1. So in that case we have to write list x of I of 1 is equal to 1. Then the answer would be minimum of list x of I minus 1 I plus 1 of 1. And I hope if I return this, it will give me correct answer, unless I make a spelling mistake. My internet is a bit slow today, I don't know why. Oh yes, it should be nested, right? Here it should be going inside a bracket, just to make it nested. I hope this one works. Yeah, I made a mistake. It would be list x, not list. Just make sure those small errors are not present. Okay. I don't know why I'm getting this error. So here we'll be looping through from 1 to. I don't know why this error is coming. I think it's some ID problem because it got executed properly. As you could say, it passed all the test cases successfully. So I hope I'm able to explain you. But I do understand that this problem is a bit complicated one. It is, I think it's a tough or difficulty level problem. I'm not sure how many points are there. I am pretty sure it would be around 40 to 60 points. It's not a simple question to solve. So it's okay if you're not able to grasp it at the first instance. But I have tried to solve this problem with much more easy. I've seen many solutions in the internet. Those are way lot complicated than the way I'm trying to solve this. So I hope you would be able to understand this problem, because I think this video is going to be very long, but I hope if I'm able to explain just the understanding part of it, I think I would be really, really honored. I hope you're able to understand this entire problem, and I would urge you to try to solve this problem on your own by understanding this. And as always, if you have a better way of solving the solution with much better time complexity or much more easier way of writing this code, which would make sure that everyone is able to understand the problem, do comment below. And as always, thanks for watching and stay tuned.